Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. 3 more playoff games here on Friday, kicking it off with the first game of the night. In this one, Boston and Orlando. Back in Orlando, going to be running through the matchups. Got a couple questionable tags here. Drew's questionable, Tatum's doubtful still. So we're going to see what that means for this matchup here in game 3. Really good night here on Wednesday night. I'm recording on Thursday. Don't have the results of that one yet, but Wednesday up nearly 5 units there on the night. So felt really good about how that night ended. Going to keep rolling here through the playoffs, give you guys an opportunity to jump in with a little discount. So if that all sounds good, give this video a like. Make sure to sub to that channel so you don't miss any of these episodes. Let's get right into it. This is going to be the last day for code YOFFS25 to get you 50% off your first 3 months in the VIP if you are interested in joining. The link to that is in the description of the video. It takes you right to the WAP.com page, and then you can head over to the premium Discord. Make sure that you're getting all the picks I'm putting down, as well as those MLB heaters from guys like Buddy Irons and Hannah, both crushing right now in baseball. But let's get into what we've got here real quick. Just a review of how the picks went to see if we can keep going back to the well on some of these, especially because we got this Celtics and Magic game here coming up as well in this episode. 42-29 now since the play-in tournament, 15.7 units up. That brings us back across 50 units. Hallelujah. Let's hope we can stay there. But 4.7 U on Wednesday, like I said. So felt really good about these plays. Got 2.5 units really off of Jaylen Brown there, 23 points. Also got plus 150 for him to get 25 plus. So nailed both of those. He had 36. In fact, I should have taken him for 30 plus, which I was wanting to do, but I was scared of the potential injury that he was still kind of nursing. So that kind of kept me off of him going too crazy. We'll see if we're going back to the well on him in this one. Porzingis over 7.5 boards, kills on the boards when he's without Tatum. We'll talk about that in this episode for sure. Paolo, 30 plus. They refuse to double him. I can't imagine game 3 is going to go by with as few double teams on Paolo as we saw in games 1 and 2. He killed. I mean, he absolutely slaughtered them in game 2. They don't care though. And so that's why I could see them not caring enough to actually start doubling him. They're going to trade his 2s for the 3s that they're shooting. So he might still get that one-on-one matchup. That's going to make it really nice for us to keep betting on him. Tyler Hero, 2.5 threes, that's gone. It's like minus 145 right now. I could not believe after he hit 3 in the prior game that we got minus 106 once again for him. Not going to see that again, but we are going to keep looking at ways to bet on Hero because he's doing a lot on offense. Davion Mitchell, might be naming my daughter Davion Collier Mitchell, some kind of, a combination of that because of how good Isaiah Collier was this year and how much Davion is feeding us in these playoffs. Got the plus money for his core line to get 12 points. Got the plus 235 for him to get 15 plus, something that he's now done on average in the games that he's playing 32 plus minutes with Hero and Bam and Wiggins. He's at about 15 a game. Just saying, we're keep getting 10.5 point props for him. We're going to keep hitting it. Darius Garland came through with a free throw at the end. We got a little lucky. He had a bad shooting night, but he still has the easiest matchup. Problem is Donnie Mitchell doesn't care who his matchup is. He's just going to keep going ham. So we'll have to start looking at him a little bit more in that Cavs series. Pritchard, a weird game, man. These are the losses now. Over 7.5 rebounds and assists, plus money. All right, we'll take the L on that one. I'm going to go back to him. I'll tell you that. We'll see how in this game. But the RA, I'm still happy with the look. He had 2 boards that were actually taken away after he had 5 of them. Didn't get a dime. I'll tell you how we're going to play him in this game. Drew Holiday, he's questionable in this one, but he had 15.5 PR. Probably should have just gone with the points or the PRA in hindsight, but I still love the way he rebounds when he's playing without Tatum. And if he's playing in this game, we'll see if we go back to the rebounds. Points were pretty good. He squeaked over those, but Max Strus hooked us. He got 7 rebounds and assists in that game. We might get 7.5 in this next one for them, and I'm still happy to fade his rebounds and assists. Max Strus's minutes are totally tied to whether or not he's hitting shots, and he hit shots in this game. But if he's not, we might see more Sam Merrill. We'll see more DeAndre Hunter. We'll even see more Ty Jerome. So I'm okay fading Strus moving forward, but Jabari Smith, I really like the 5 boards for him, but it was obviously like minus 180. Really thought he would keep being good for 10 plus points. He's done it pretty much every game against the Dubs since last season, outside of like 2 meetings that they had. Didn't really come through. It wasn't much of a game. Everything was weird. After Pods was injured, Jimmy went down. So not the best way to end the night with the loss for Jabari Smith, but I'm super unworried. I'll tell you that right now, because 4.7 units is enough to remind you that you have one more opportunity until tomorrow to get that code for 50% off for your first 3 months in the VIP. Code YOFFS25. So let's get into what we've got here, though, for this Celtics and Magic game. Jumping into what we need for game 3 here, the notes that we're looking at should say that we still have Tatum doubtful. We've got Drew Holiday questionable. I don't really have any insight into whether or not Drew's going to play just yet. So we'll have to kind of take a look at that on Friday. But Jaylen Brown seems healthy. He played 42 minutes about. Yeah, he had most of the touches on this team for this game. 36 points, took the 19 shots, got to the free throw line, 10 boards, 5 assists. He was everywhere. He ran hot for sure. He was really, really good from three, barely missed from the floor in general. So keep that in mind that, 36 is not an expectation that I'm going to have for him all the time, obviously. But on the other side of the ball here, but Banchero, like I was saying, they refuse to double team him, man. They're just going to continue to let him go, apparently. But we'll see if we can kind of project that to change in this upcoming game. It should be worth mentioning, Paolo and Franz had 53% of the touches in this last game, 173 touches between the two of them throughout that whole game. That's why it's really hard to bet on anybody not named Paolo or Franz for the Magic specifically. If you want to go for the role players, it's going to be way more difficult to figure out who's going to be have a good game in that one or even get minutes as a result. Paolo versus Brown, they guarded each other, right? We saw Paolo and JB. We'll talk about that in the matchups in one sec. They were on each other most of the game, and neither of them seemed as interested in really locking down the other guy as interested as they were on the other side on offense, where they were both showing out obviously and just kind of going back and forth against each other. Something to watch too, because if the guy gets scored on between them, they're going to be like, great, let me bring it back to you in the next one. That's how we got them both to their 30 plus points in that one. Cole and Black, Anthony Black. It's really just about who plays best. We saw Cole get just completely rocked out of that game, right? I think he played like 6 minutes. Anthony Black ended with like 23 minutes. I think he had about as many or slightly more than Corey Joseph. But once again, it's because he was playing better, right? And Cole didn't really get a chance to get going because Black came in, did a good job on defense, did a good job attacking the rim and not making mistakes for a rook with, I think, no turnovers in that game. So that kept him out there, especially because of that defense that he's capable of playing that Cole is not. And he was guarding Pritchard most of the game. So that's pretty important for the backup minutes. I don't know that we're going to have Cole Anthony too much if he can't guard Peyton Pritchard that way. But let's jump into these matchups here. Looking at the starting here with Boston on offense. This is pretty much status quo, but I thought it was interesting that I projected Banchero to guard Horford and Wagner to be the guy on Jaylen Brown. That's not really what they did. I mean, you saw some of what Wagner on Brown, but for the most part, you're getting Banchero and Brown going one-on-one against each other. Kind of hurt Banchero on the boards, to be honest, because he's guarding JB. In the other games, he was guarding, I think Drew or other guys that aren't shooting as much. So he was able to really be in position for those boards. Now that we're seeing him guard Jaylen Brown, he had 9 boards in the last game. He ran hot early, got a lot of them, but then ended with just the 9. Not really something I want to necessarily go back to here as Paolo rebounds as a result. On the other side of the ball, this is really interesting because this is how things started, right? We saw Holiday, he played Wagner a bit. Horford and was actually on Joseph a bit too. They kind of switched back and forth a bit. And then White and KCP guard each other the whole time. And again, Brown and Paolo on each other the whole time as well. So that was the one sort of difference that I wanted to update here. Brown not guarding, Corey Joseph or anything like that. They're keeping him on Banchero now. Maybe he wanted that assignment. Things change a lot though, because Corey Joseph kind of got played out of the game a bunch. Too small, right? This lineup's way too big for him. Anthony Black was a lot more impactful. Might be the case again. It will probably depend on whether or not Drew actually plays though. I showed you guys this in the last one. This is with and without Jason Tatum for the key Celtics players. Just briefly wanted to run through it as a reminder. Once again, we're going to see Jaylen Brown have his points go up, but his RA flies up, right? It goes from about 10 per game, I should say, to about 12, almost 13 per game in terms of the rebounds and assists combined. But again, I'm going back to the points. I think there's a lot of explainable reasons why he, in the 7 games without Tatum, he only averaged 1 or 2 more points per game. It's mostly because they were blowing teams out and he didn't need to score. I see him continuing to try to score. Kristaps, we played the boards. That's one of the bigger discrepancies too. The points he ran cold last game, probably going to go back to those points. We'll talk about him in a minute, but he goes up in both points and boards. And then Derek White, he goes up in points, he goes down in boards, he goes up in dimes. He did get 6 boards on 10 rebound chances last game. Didn't end up fading him, but considering it again, if we can get him at 5.5 or maybe plus money for the under 4.5. And then Drew, if he does play, he goes up in the points and the boards for sure. But I think we stick to the points a little bit more. Like I was saying, if we get him at 10.5 points, that would be a better over for him. And then Pritchard, I showed you the RA go up last time. That's what I like. He's at about 10 RA per game. But I think the rebounds is the bigger opportunity. He goes way up in the rebound chances. That's the key. His potential assists, they don't really go up. The rebounds do, the rebound chances, right? So he's at about 8 or 9 per game without Jason Tatum on the rebound chances. He had 9 in this last game, ran cold, only getting 3 of them. So we're probably going to be going back to him. Let's go into those player props that I've got here for Friday night. As always, going to be using Props Madness here as I share my screen and show you guys what I'm looking at. This is the #1 sports betting research tool for all things NBA. Could not recommend it more highly. Very big time saver, more than anything. It's got everything you need in a one-stop shop to help you really find these plays that you need. So go ahead and use code LYB if you are going to sign up. It gets you 7 free days to get you a little trial, see if you like it. And then you can also use that code to get 25% off on your first month when you decide to join. I told you that I'm not quite sure if the Celtics will or will not start to double Paolo in this next game, but we did see a little bit of doubling. It's just not more than in game one, I'll say, just still not enough. So it's tough for me to get that vibe. I don't think Mazzulla is going to give us a hint. I think I'm good going back to the points. And for Paolo, I'll keep probably playing things like 30 points. And if we can't get these assists at 5, it might be worth it to add it. It's pretty flat right now, right? We say minus 115 on both sides for the dimes. But the dimes would be where you go if they decide that they're going to start doubling him a bunch more. And he did have 15 potential assists. Thing here is, man, he's got the ball in his hands the whole game. He had 102 touches in this last game in the amount of minutes that he's in, which is 43, right? Franz still played like 40. He was at 40 exactly. So it's not like Franz wasn't out there when Paolo had the ball in his hands the whole time, but they're not doubling him. And he's a better offensive player than Franz. There's no way around it. It's a big reason why I'm confused as to why they haven't started doubling him. So if you want to make the projection that they are going to double him, then the assists are wonderful. In fact, I think they're probably good just because of how much he has the ball in his hands. You're likely to trip and fall into 5 assists when you have 102 touches. And what were the passes here? 69. Nice. Passes made as well for him in this game. You're bound to fall into 5 assists, right? So I do like that number for him on the dimes, but it's tough for me to tell you not to go over on the points. I'll likely just be looking at another 30 piece for him. Big reason being, if you look at him, not games with, but if you look at him since the All-Star break in games that he's played at least 35 to 36 minutes, let's say we'll give him the floor of 35, and let's make this since Feb 20th, right? It's the last 18 games, 31.7 points. He's over 27.5 in 13 of 18 games. If we bump this up so that he needs 30, his hit rate for 30 games is still 12 out of 18, averaging that 32 a game. Like, you might as well just take that plus money for him to keep getting 30 plus. He started out a little jittery in this last game. It made people scared in the first 4 or 5 minutes when he's missing everything and he didn't look comfortable. And then he hit a layup, and then he hit a 3, and then he was golden, man. And that he was completely under control. So I'll probably hit both the points and the assists. I look at the assists as covering me, like 2 separate bets, not combined. I look at the assists as sort of covering me that if he's unable to get the points, then he should be good for the assists. But even if he does get the points, I still think 4.5 is a good over for him. Like I said, I can't really get there with any more Magic players. Even Franz, he's been running cold for sure and still getting close to his points. So I would be looking at the points. I would not be touching assists for him. And as far as the boards go, he's been running, he hasn't been really getting the rebound chances in this series. And it's largely in part because of who he's guarding, right? He's standing pretty far away, consistently guarding either Jaylen Brown when he's out there, or more likely, guys that like Drew Holiday. I keep wanting to say Franz, like Drew Holiday. So he is playing a little further from the basket, not quite as involved, and not necessarily a guy I want to take on the boards. But what I do want to touch on here is getting right over to Peyton Pritchard, because I mean, he didn't get the boards in the last game. He had 3, but he had these 9 rebound chances, right? And in these games, even with Kristaps, I filtered him so he's playing with Kristaps and he's playing without Jason Tatum, because I wanted to take into consideration that Kristaps is obviously going to gobble up a ton of these rebounds. Well, he's at 4.2 rebounds in those 6 games. The rebound chances are at 9.5, man. And even if I take out KP, so we can just see all the games he's played without Tatum, 4.8 boards per game. Like I said, 10 rebound chances per game without Tatum. And he's at about 5.5 boards per 36 minutes when he plays on court with the starters, and Tatum is not one of those starters. He's off court. So this is just a numbers play continuously. I love the rebounds for our boy. I also have another bet that I love for him. I love the threes. 2.5 is flat. I can't imagine this is going to stay at minus 115 on both sides. This is a dude averaging 3.2 on the season. If you take him on the games he's played without Tatum, he's at 3.7 on the season. And in this last game, he was 3 for 6. 6 is a low number for him. The prior game, he took 12. Granted, that was the Magic. Let me make sure I'm looking at game 1 here. Game 1, he took 6 as well, hit 4 of them. But like, this is damn near a 48. Like, when he's open, let's just call him a better than 50% three-point shooter when he's on open catch and shoots. But he's also a great pull-up shooter. And that's the reason I'm not scared of taking threes against a Magic squad that's very good at limiting catch and shoot. But they will allow the pull-ups because they don't double team. He's probably going to have Anthony Black on him. Tough matchup, but Pritchard's better than Anthony Black. Let's just call it what it is. This is going to be another good game for him, especially if Drew doesn't play. We've got a ton of outs here. So what do we do with Kristaps in this game? Because he had 20 points in this last game, and I would argue he played very poorly. He shot 5 of 14 from the field. He was 0 of 5 from 3, but he got 14 free throws. And that's how he got 20 points, which just shows you we have a ton of outs for Kristaps as well, right? We don't need him to shoot well. He should still be good for the points. So I'm definitely going to be hitting 20 plus. I mean, we're getting even money for him to hit 20 plus points in this game. What's he done without Tatum? I actually already forgot, even though I was supposed to know coming into the episode. He's at 22.8 without Tatum. He had the 17 in this 4-point loss. That was a weird game. Another 2 for 10 game that he had against this team. I'm not giving this as like a nod to Wendell Carter, saying that Wendell Carter Jr. guarding Kristaps has led to him having a couple bad games. But again, his bad game against the Magic last time was 20 points. Then the question comes, do we like the boards? The answer is hell yeah. I still love the boards. I would still take 8+ for him, even at like -120. I think we're good. You're starting to lose me when you get down to -135, -140 for the rebounds for Kristaps, mostly because I got this at, plus money, +118 yesterday for him to get the 8 boards. Clearly people caught on, but he's still at about 9.8 rebounds per 36 minutes when he plays without Jason Tatum. So for him to get 8 boards, even at a juiced up price like this, -128 on FanDuel, I'm still down to take an over for Kristaps on the rebounds. Maybe we do another little sprinkle on the double-double as well. My main thing with Derek White here, to just kind of at least touch upon him for a second, is like if he's hitting the threes, he's good to go. Now, he had 17 in this one, shooting very poorly, 3 for 10. 3 for 10, he still got there, right? And that's my thing with him, is when he's hitting the threes, he's good to go. When he's not, I'm very out on Derek White. But then I saw this last game without Jason Tatum, still didn't shoot that well, and still got there because he played 38 minutes and he took 14 shots. And that's going to continue to be probably third on the team behind JB and Kristaps. But I got to imagine that we're going to see a little bit more double teaming of Jaylen Brown. It's just who are they going to double off of is the question. Now, if Drew Holiday is out in this game, Derek White's a smash for the 16.5. He's already probably good for the points. If Drew is out, I love the assists as well. Yeah, 4.5, whatever, but 5.5 plus money, still down for that. He's at about 8 assists per game when he's on, he's about 8% assists per 36 minutes when he plays on the floor without Jason Tatum and with like Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and without Drew, right? Now he's looking at about 8 rebounds per 30, assists per 36. So I like the points and the assists for him tomorrow. I do not like the rebounds, as I've told you repeatedly. I know he had a good game getting 6 on 10 rebound chances in this last one, but I still don't like him moving forward just based on the hit rate and the numbers that he shows. He's at about 3.8 rebounds per 36 minutes when he plays without Jason Tatum. Don't forget to check out the description of the video. It's got the link to the VIP section of the Discord. You can get in there for 50% off your first 3 months using code YOFS25. This is the last night, tomorrow the last day that we are running this little discount for you guys as we continue to stay hot here in the YOFS. So hope to see you guys in there. Until I do, happy betting.